So what am I going to talk about today? Well, some people might take this one a little bit aggressively. Some people might take this one a little bit the wrong way, but I'm going to be a little bit sort of, how do I put this? I'm going to be a little bit in your face about it. And some people don't like accountability. Accountability is a big thing. And not accountability in the way that you might think. Accountability for personal responsibility is what I'm really going to target here. So, and what am I going to do? Well, time. This little thing. Most of us wear a watch. We have a watch on our phones. We have calendars on our phones. We have calendars on the wall at home. Most of us who work in business, some sort of industry, we keep diaries. We keep track of our schedule for the day. Time. There's not always enough of it. However, there is always part of it that we can allot and schedule for the right things. Okay? Little coffee sip. So if I cough a little bit today, I apologize. I've been thrashing out a little bit the last few days trying to get certain jobs done. So today's going to be a sort of a recovery day for me. All right, time. There are so many people who use the excuse of busy lifestyle, work, family, kids, and they take that as, I don't have time to be healthy, exercise, work out for myself. I'm too busy doing this, and this. And that's just an excuse. So I look at things from this perspective. If you don't look after your personal individual health, whether it be it physically or mentally, then how are you supposed to look after everyone else's? Kids, rest of the family, etc. Yeah, that's how I look at it. So your personal health needs to come above and beyond everyone else's, or you do not have the energy, the capability of doing for anyone else. So think about it from that perspective. So I've done a little bit of math, and I did this quite a while ago. I did a blog about it several years ago. I did the math a long time ago on this one, and I tend to sprout it at clients who say, I don't really have time to do this, I don't have time to do that. Well, guess what? You got time to sit on your phone. You got time to look after your health. This is how I do the math on it. Okay, so bear with me here. We're going to go through a process. So let's look at things over a period of 7 days. 1 week. Okay, a week. 7 days to a week. Now, mathematically, that adds up to 168 hours over a 7-day week. Yeah, it sounds like a lot, doesn't it? Okay. Let's subtract from that. Do a bit more math on that. Let's subtract our sleep time. So we should be getting 8 hours of quality sleep every day. Should. Some people get a little bit less. Some people work okay on a little bit less. Some people get a little bit more. But let's average that out to a nice round figure of 8 hours sleep per day. So that totals out to 56 hours a week. Now, if you see me looking off to the side here, I've got notes for myself. So I tend to do that whenever I'm doing a blog. When I used to do blogs on YouTube and stuff, I tend to keep notes for myself. So I'll look a little bit to the side and just check on my notes and where I'm at for what I'm telling you. Okay, so 168 hours to a week, 7 days. We're going to sleep 8 hours a day. All right. So that works out at 56 hours. So let's subtract that. What do we got left? 112 hours. Okay? So that's 112 hours left after we take out sleep. So I'm going to work on the math here. Bear with me. Okay? But I have to work. Okay? The average, let's say you work a full-time job. Okay, so let's do 40 hours a week on that. Okay, most full-time jobs are 38 to 40 hours a week on average. Some people work more than that. I know some people that work up to 60 hours a week because they're on a contracted job, on a salary, and that's the responsibility of their job. So everyone's going to be slightly different on that, but we're going to take the average. Some people only have casual jobs and they only work like 12 to 15 hours a week. So we're going to take the average. We're going to work a 40-hour week, but we're also going to add in our travel time. So assuming you have to get to work. Okay, so that's 30 minutes travel time we're going to add in there. So let's calculate that out at 45 hours for the week for your work, travel time, etc. All right, so let's subtract that. So we've gone from week being 7 days, which is 168 hours. We take out our sleep time, we're left with 112 hours. Okay, now we're going to take out our work time. We're going to average that at 45 hours. So we're left with 67 hours per week remaining. Okay, so we're doing the math here. We're cutting this 7 days, 168 hours down from the essentials, what we need to do. Okay, all right, gotta eat. Gotta eat. So let's estimate 30 minutes for a meal. That calculates out to about 7 hours a week. Okay, we take that out of the 67, obviously that leaves us 60 hours a week. 60 hours. So we've taken out our sleep time, we've taken out our work time out of that 7 days. Okay, we've taken out our meal time. Okay, that leaves us with 60 hours per week. That's around 3 days, approximately, just under. More importantly, it leaves us a spare 8 hours a day. 8 hours per day spare. Now assume you've got, even if you assume you've got to do school run, shopping, and all of those little bits and pieces, but still that's 8 hours a day. So here you go, I'm going to be a little bit upfront about this, going to be a little bit in your face about it. You're telling me that somewhere in that 6 to 8 hours a day, we're going to average it, somewhere in that 6 to 8 hours a day spare, that you can't find time for 30 minutes to focus on your health and well-being each day, or at a minimum 2 to 3 times a week, because that's 6 to 8 hours per day over a 7-day period. A little bit confronting, isn't it, when you look at the numbers? All you've got to do each day is take 30 minutes for yourself, or at least, as I said, 2 to 3 times a week, to look after your physical and mental well-being. After you've done your sleep, after you've had your sleep time taken out for the week, your work time taken out for the week, your meal times taken out for the week, you run some errands, you do some food prep, you do the shopping, look after the kids, you've still got spare time. And I know you've all got spare time out there because you sit on your mobile phones. You stare at the television. Sorry, just going for a coffee. Yeah, I did say that at the beginning that this was going to be one of those sorts of conversations where it's going to be a little bit confronting. So there is quite literally zero excuse to take 2 to 3 times a week to look out for your own physical and mental well-being? None. There's no excuse at all. Oh, but I've got little kids running around and they need my attention all the time, or they tire me out. They're tiring you out because you're not looking after yourself. How do you expect to look after the kids and the rest of the family if you're mentally and physically drained all the time and you don't have a chance to reset? Oh, I've got parents and family I need to look after. Well, if you can't look after yourself first, and if you can't keep your physical and mental well-being up, how are you going to look after them? Yeah, a little bit confronting, isn't it? It's actually quite stark and daunting when you actually cut it down to the nitty-gritty. Making time for yourself has to be incredibly important. It has to be more important than making time for anyone else. Because you, as I said at the beginning of this conversation, you can't look after anyone else if you don't look after yourself first. It literally is that simple. And now when I talk about physical and mental well-being, I'm talking about keeping yourself mentally focused, having some mental reset time. I'm talking about some simple exercise. Not just carrying the shopping in from the car or, work. Simple, proper, functional exercise. I'm talking about dietary. Focusing on the correct foods. And I talk about that a lot, especially with, all my clients, my classes. Anyone who knows me knows that I talk about food quality a lot. And I never used to as much, but I do more now. And it's amazing how much refocusing on that quality diet changes the physical and the mental. And it's amazing how much focusing on quality movement patterns and functional exercise fixes the mental, which can then fix the focus on the diet. The whole lot is holistic, and that almost sounds airy-fairy and, for want of a better phrase, and a little bit old school meditation type stuff, but you know what? The body and the brain work together, and if they're not functioning together properly, then you're not getting any focus, you're not getting anything done properly, you're not getting any health benefits from the universe. You're going to be sicker all the time, you're going to be run down, you're going to be stressed, and so if you've got to look at mind and body, because it's literally one thing. All of this has to work together, all of it. And by all of this I mean brain, body, everything. We get into whole separate conversations about food, etc. at another time. We will talk about that. But making time. When you go through the math, let's do it again. Go through the math again. A week is 7 days. That calculates out 168 hours. Take out your 56 hours of sleep per week. That's estimating 8 hours a day. You've got 112 hours remaining. You take out your work week and travel time for an average full-time job, 45 hours of work and travel, then that leaves you with 67 hours. You take out meal times of 30 minutes a day, multiple meals, that's 7 hours a week. Okay, you're left with 60, which estimates out around 8 hours a day, and you're saying somewhere in that 8 hours you can't find 30 to 45 minutes to look after yourself. I'm sorry, but I don't believe you. Because if you don't look after yourself, you can't look after everyone else, as I keep saying it over and over again. And if you don't start looking after yourself now, you're going to regret it later. Especially in your 20s and 30s. If you don't start looking after yourself now, by the time you hit your 50s and 60s, your body is going to be screwed up something fierce. Trust me on that one, I know it from personal experience. Spent my 20s and 30s just abusing the crap out of my body. Pay for it now. But I'm correcting it. As you do get older and you get wiser and you learn all these things, you're actually capable of correcting all of those things. And it's amazing how much you can correct. I'm no spring chicken. Okay? I've had multiple surgeries, multiple injuries, multiple medical conditions, and it's taken its toll on me, but I like to think that I'm still capable and functional because I've learned to look after myself and learned to focus on what's important in terms of looking after myself. So for example, these chats, just doing these live streams. So I stopped doing my blogs and my vlogs, video blogs, on YouTube for a while. I've gone off YouTube. That's just a personal choice. Decided to focus on X instead. And I stopped doing that, and I shouldn't have, because that was actually a good mental focus for me, separate to my physical, being able to do these sorts of blogs. So I stopped making time in that way, in that respect, for a little while. I made time for other things. So I'm back into doing these again in a different format, in a different location. So you've got to make that time. You've got it. There's enough hours in the week. You can't tell me you don't have enough time. Sorry, put down the phone. Walk away from the television. Okay? You've got to make the time for you, because if you don't make the time for you, no one else is going to make the time for you. And if you don't make the time for you, for your physical and mental well-being, you can't look after everyone else, because you're going to be tired, stressed, physically in pain. You're going to be sick all the time. It's as simple as, it really is quite that simple. Making time. You have to make the time. We just did the math. There is time every day. So you need to find the time for yourself 2 to 3 times a week for the physical and the mental. The mental, if you do the physical, the mental actually comes along with it, if you do it correctly. And then when you do some dietary and you put it all together, the body responds really, really well. Good dietary, bit of physical, bit of mental focus. You'd be surprised how much of a difference that makes in your entire life, and how much more energy and focus you'll have to not only look after yourself, but look after all the others in your life and your family that you do look after. Coffee. So yeah, as I said at the beginning of this chat, it's going to be a bit confronting. Making time. There is time. There is zero excuse for anyone to find time 2 to 3 times a week for 30-45 minutes worth of exercise, or 30 to 45 minutes worth of mental healing, 30 to 45 minutes worth of dietary focus. Okay? Literally, there's no excuses. Alright? So, contemplate that for a little bit. I hope that, you took a little bit out of that and took a bit away from that for yourselves. It's a bit of a deep situation. It's a bit of a heavy subject, because I can guarantee you 90% of the people I talk to, they find some sort of excuse. They really do. Oh, I've got this going on, I've got this going on. So I can guarantee you I can find some time during your day, during your week, when we look at the math, that you can focus on you. And if you don't focus on you, then you can't help everyone else because you're going to be fatigued, sick, tired, stressed, okay, physically injured potentially. It's amazing how many simple inflammatory injuries that you can have within your body just from not focusing on you and basic movement patterns, mental health, and diet. All right, I don't think I need to go through the math again. You can always go back through the video, but yeah, over a 7-day period, there's 8 hours a day, anywhere between 6 and 8 hours a day that you can find some time somewhere, 2 to 3 times a week at a minimum. Okay, yeah, a bit confronting, as I said. It's all about accountability, making yourself accountable to make time for yourself. You can't help others if you're not helping yourself first. Quite that simple. It's literally that simple.